Hello, it's June 21st, 2017, and this is LifeTalk. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. We're coming live from Texas, the best state ever.
Really?
That's right.
You think? Mm-hmm. You figured that out, didn't you?
I know that.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, a couple of days ago, we did a show on this issue of athletes getting pregnant on purpose.
Right.
And then having abortions.
Right.
Just to bring people up to date on what was happening there. Several years ago, the International Olympic Committee had a problem with what's called blood doping. And what this was athletes would give blood, take a pint or two of blood out of their body, and then their body would eventually replace that blood. Then they would go back and put that blood back into their body, and now they'd have a larger blood volume, which meant more oxygen. Mm-hmm. Right? And then they could perform better athletically.
That's right.
The IOC tried to stop this, and they did stop it. It's called blood doping, and they made it illegal. But they had a problem. When women are pregnant, their blood volume increases, and what happened was, and the first team that they caught doing this was the Soviet team. What was happening was women were getting pregnant right before an athletic competition like the Olympics,
right?
And then their blood volume would go up, their oxygen levels would go up, they'd perform better, and then after the event was over, they'd have abortions. And there was really no way for the International Olympic Committee to stop this because you can't tell women they can't get pregnant.
Right.
Right?
No, you can't.
And you can't tell them they can't have abortions. And I was always when this was happening, I brought this up on LifeTalk in some debates and stuff that I did. And I brought it up because the point I was making was to make the pro-aborts defend this. You say it's a woman's right to choose and that she does this to make her life better and whatever the reasons they might give. Well, that's what these women are doing. And do you defend this? And of course, they saw what a nightmare this was from a PR standpoint, and they wouldn't defend it. But some of them would and say, well, it's none of your business to tell a woman she can't get pregnant on purpose to have an abortion.
I think that if they ever found out, though, that a woman went in to have an abortion after she ran or whatever it was in the Olympics that she was doing, well, I guess obviously running, that she would be disqualified. They would take the medals away from her if she won any.
And then she'd sue them and win.
Yeah.
So there was really no way for the International Olympic Committee to prevent women from doing blood doping.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would bring up, and I used to bring this up, if there's nothing wrong with abortion, then what's wrong with this?
Right.
If there's no moral component to the abortion issue, if it's not the murder of a child, then what's wrong with what these women are doing?
What's wrong with cheating? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
We had a viewer from California call us after this show aired, and he brought up a similar thing that he had seen. And it was a debate, and you were on the call. I don't remember if he was in the debate or if he was just watching it.
I think he was just watching it.
Anyway, there was a debate in California in which there were some representatives from this Federation of Feminist Women's Health Centers. And that's this wacky group in California. In a minute,
Isn't that? Okay,
yeah,
we'll get to that in a second.
We'll talk about how wacky these people are,
okay.
Right? Because, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
But anyway, what he was saying was that he had a similar experience there, that one of these women brought up as a defense for abortion the argument that some women get pregnant for reasons other than to have a baby, right?
Which is true, yeah. I mean, we get some of the phone calls here of things like that.
And he said they were saying, well, one of the reasons that women will get pregnant on purpose when they have no intention of having a baby, and so therefore they should be allowed to have an abortion, is to test the relationship. So they're in a relationship with a guy and they think, I don't know if he really loves me or not, or he's just stringing me along.
Right.
I'll get pregnant.
And we'll see if he runs then or if he sticks around.
If he sticks around, then he loves me. If he doesn't, then...
Oh, and guess what, honey? I had a miscarriage, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Or maybe he wouldn't care if she had an abortion. He might even encourage her to have the abortion. The other thing was that he said that this representative from this Federation of Feminist Women's Health Centers were saying some women get pregnant just to see if they can get pregnant. They test their fertility.
Right. And that's really common for women that have had abortions to get pregnant on purpose to see if they can still conceive.
Right. And we've had many of those phone calls.
Many of those, yeah.
And so a girl or a woman goes and has abortion. She's now afraid that maybe she can't get pregnant again, so she gets pregnant again on purpose, and then she has another one.
abortion.
And then she thinks, well, wait a minute, maybe the second one.
Right.
And we've had women that have had multiple abortions
Right.
in this kind of cycle where you're trying to find out if you can still get pregnant or not.
Right.
So a lot of babies die for no reason other than the curiosity of the woman to know if she can get pregnant, or the curiosity to know if this guy that she's fooling around with
Really loves her.
really loves her. And about the same time that this thing came out on these Olympic athletes, there was a show on Oprah Winfrey, and I think we have a copy of the show here. She did a show on teen pregnancy, and one of the things, one of the women on the panel admitted that she had gotten pregnant on purpose to make her boyfriend marry her. And when
That is very common with teens.
yeah, and when he took off, she had an abortion. So, you know, the question is, if a woman, my argument always was, if the pro-aborts always say that, oh, this is for the hard cases and the you know, birth control fails or whatever, but what about a situation where a woman gets pregnant on purpose? Should she be allowed to have an abortion? And they will still say that she should.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's her choice.
Where we were going a minute ago,
Something so disgusting.
is this Federation of Feminist Women's Health Centers.
Right.
They are the group, and we've talked about this on LifeTalk before, that produce what is generically called the home abortion kit.
Right.
They call it a menstrual extraction
Yeah.
kit.
Right.
And years ago, we were able to get the video.
And I viewed it, and a group, it is so bizarre. A group of women get together like they're having Sunday dinner or
Tupperware
something, or a
party.
Tupperware party, or like a Bible study. I go to a Bible study, and they get together and they look at each other's vaginas and
Examine each
and
other
examine each other to see what's normal and what's not, and
like they know.
like they would know exactly
And then-
how to figure out how to work this abortion, this home abortion.
It's the most bizarre thing. And to suggest that these people care anything about the health of women while putting this information out there. And they teach you how to assemble your own home abortion kit.
Yeah.
You get this
what
little-
all to get?
Yeah, you get a little mason jar, and you punch a hole in it, and you put this tube into it, and then you
Right.
buy a syringe like a horse.
A big old syringe where you can pump.
Make a pump.
Right.
And you can pump the contents of the uterus out. In other words,
Into the jar.
Into
Yeah.
the jar. And they literally, like Renee was saying, they literally sit around a living room with flashlights and speculums and looking inside each other and they say to spot anything abnormal.
Right.
Do you know what would be abnormal about any of your friends?
I have no clue. I wouldn't know about myself, much less here.
Other people.
Right.
That's what you pay OBGYNs
And
for.
to do, that's why they go to school to do this.
Right. But this is literally like a little Tupperware
Yeah.
party, and you do the
It's-
home abortions.
It's really disgusting. And I just looked it up a moment ago before we did the show. They still sell them. They still have it out there.
They still put the information out.
Yeah.
And we have the video from many, many years ago.
Many years, yeah.
And it is truly bizarre, and it is absolute, irrefutable proof that these people care nothing about these women. Because if anybody that cared about women, they would not make this information out there.
Yeah, they would not put it out there. They would try to protect these women.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just,
It's about the killing and the murder of the innocent babies. That's all it
in
is.
their mind, as long as the baby dies, that's all that matters.
That's all they want to accomplish.
That's 100% of what matters.
Yep.
And when you look at this, at this kind of information, and then you hear them defending, the same people that do this, defending a woman getting pregnant on purpose and then having an abortion, and them defending that,
Right.
the only conclusions you can come away with is what we've talked about here before. These people run the gamut. They're either totally nuts. They're either crazy as drugstore rats, or they're evil. And I have been saying for years, and I will continue to say, being pro-choice is a mental defect. It's a mental disease. And I know that you even kind of argue with me when you first came here and I started making that argument, and you were saying, no, they're just wrong. They're not mentally defective. Have you come over it? Have you?
I mean, they have a seared conscience, and if we could just, I know
They're evil.
I know that there's a whole lot. Prayer is the answer, and
But you can you not see now that these people are mentally unhinged? A very high percentage of them.
Yes, I can.
Because if you're pushing this, you're either totally evil or you're not mentally stable.
Right.
And that's the gamut that it runs.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
where you fall.
Yep.
And the more you look at this thing, and the longer you're in it, I've been in it, 35 or so years. The longer you're in it, the more you see the evidence of that, and it just at some point becomes overwhelming, and you can't deny it.
Yeah.
These people are either crazy or they're evil. That's the gap that they fall into.
I know. I'm still in hopes that they convert and they see it for what it is. But some people go to the grave, but
Right.
being pro-aborts and being evil and
Stupid and
yeah.
and crazy, and a lot of times crazy. But you got to be screwed up to promote this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the time we have for this show. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
Be sure and send if you have questions or you have comments or something you'd like to see us cover. Be sure and send it to Renee, and she's kind of the gargoyle, and she oversees all of that. I just come in and do the show. She tells me what we're going to do, and then I do it. I've been married 46 years. I'm used to that arrangement.
Yeah, it just works, doesn't it?
It works. It works real well. But anyway, just let us hear from you. That's the main thing. We need to, because this show, I keep saying this, and we truly and honestly mean this. This is your show, not ours. We're here to serve your interest, and so we need to know what those interests are and what you need to hear from us. So please let us know, and we'll try to get to it. Anything else?
No,
you're
that's it.
done. Stick you with the fort.
That's it.
All right. Listen, until next time, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next time.